The phone call came Friday evening while I reviewed case briefs. My sister Lauren's voice was cheerful. "Hey Victoria. Heads up. I'm organizing a family reunion at the lake house next weekend. Memorial Day. About 30 people. I sent invitations." I set down my pen. "You're organizing what at my house?" "The lake house. Perfect for family gatherings." I distributed keys to cousins driving up early to prep. Aunt Susan and Uncle Ray are bringing their RV. Oh, and I hired caterers. "I'll Venmo you for your share." She hung up. At 41, I was a federal district court judge for the United States District Court for the District of Columbia. I'd been on the bench 3 years after 15 years as a federal prosecutor. Annual salary, $223,400. Net worth, $4.8 million. My family thought I was a government lawyer who worked at the courthouse. The lake house Lauren was commandeering was custom-built on 40 acres in the Adirondacks. Purchased 5 years ago for $2.1 million. 4 bedrooms, floor-to-ceiling windows, private dock, security system. Current value, $2.8 million. It was registered as a federal judge's residence with enhanced security protections under 28 U.S.C. Section 566. Making unauthorized entry a federal offense. My family didn't know because they'd never asked about my actual career. I called my U.S. Marshals liaison. Deputy Marshal James Chin answered immediately. "Judge Mitchell. Everything all right?" My sister organized a 30-person reunion at my lake house without authorization. She distributed keys. "People are arriving this weekend." Brief pause. "At your registered judicial residence?" "Yes." Unauthorized entry into a federal judge's residence is a serious federal offense. If they enter without permission, we'll respond according to protocol. I'm documenting this in advance. I have not and will not authorize any access. I'll flag this and notify the field office near your property. Do you want local law enforcement backup? Please. And James. My sister made key copies. I need locks changed immediately and security updated. Team there tomorrow morning. We'll post notice that it's federal property. Anyone attempting entry after that will be cited immediately. I called my property management company. All locks changed by tomorrow. Previous keys invalidated. New security codes. Then my security provider. I need footage from the past month showing who accessed the property. What I discovered was infuriating. Lauren had visited 4 times in 6 weeks. She brought friends. Hosted parties. Posted Instagram photos calling it, our family retreat. Our family retreat. My $2.8 million property. Saturday morning I drove 5 hours to the lake house. The U.S. Marshals team was there. 2 vehicles for deputies installing new locks and posting federal property notices. Judge Mitchell, Deputy Chin greeted me. We've secured the perimeter. New locks installed. Anyone attempting entry without authorization will be detained and cited. The notices were clear. Federal property residence of U.S. federal judge, unauthorized entry prohibited 28 C Section 566 violators will be prosecuted. How do you want to handle family members with keys? Chin asked. They'll discover they don't work. At that point they're trespassing. Issue citations. Understood. I spent Saturday working remotely and waiting. Lauren called 3 times. I didn't answer. Her voicemails grew annoyed. Victoria, my key isn't working. I have caterers coming Monday. This isn't funny. You can't lock out the family from a family property. Sunday evening Lauren posted in the family group chat. FI Victoria changed locks on the lake house. Incredibly selfish. The house is for the whole family, not just her. We're still having the reunion. I'll figure out access. Mom responded, Lauren, maybe you should have asked Victoria first? Lauren, why? It's the family lake house. She doesn't own it exclusively. Cousin Mark, pretty sure Victoria does own it exclusively. Lauren, that's not the point. Family shares. I forwarded the thread to Deputy Chin. Documentation of planned unauthorized entry. Monday morning, Memorial Day, the first arrivals came. Cousin Jennifer, her husband, 3 kids. I watched security cameras as they tried their key, discovered it didn't work, then tried forcing a window. Deputies emerged from their vehicle. I couldn't hear the conversation. But I saw Jennifer's face go from annoyed to shocked to terrified as deputies explained she was attempting to break into a federal judge's residence. Citations issued. Children crying. Husband arguing. Then Aunt Susan and Uncle Ray in their RV. More deputies. More citations. More shocked faces. By afternoon, Lauren arrived with her husband and my mother. She had a key, confidence, and apparently a prepared speech about family values. She didn't get to deliver it. Hold up. I watched through cameras as Lauren approached with her key, my mother and brother-in-law following. She stopped at the federal property notices. What the hell? Lauren read aloud, Residence of U.S. Federal Judge. This is a mistake. Victoria's not a judge. She's a courthouse lawyer. Mom leaned in. Lauren, this is official federal signage. It's probably a legal technicality to keep us out. The key didn't work. Lauren tried 3 times, increasingly frustrated. Deputy Chin and another marshal emerged. Ma'am, step away. This is federal property. You're trespassing. Lauren spun. Trespassing? This is my family's lake house. This property is registered as the residence of Federal District Court Judge Victoria Mitchell. You're attempting unauthorized entry into a federal judge's residence, a federal offense under 28 U.S.C. Section 566. Federal judge? Lauren laughed. Victoria's not a judge. She does courthouse paperwork. Deputy Chin pulled out credentials. Ma'am, I'm U.S. Deputy Marshal James Chin, assigned to Judge Mitchell's security detail. This is her protected residence. Do you have authorization from Judge Mitchell? Lauren's face cycled through emotions. She's really a federal judge? Yes. Federal District Court for D.C. Do you have authorization? She's my sister. Of course I do. This is the family lake house. That's not how federal property law works. This is owned by Judge Mitchell and registered as a judicial residence with enhanced security. Unauthorized entry is a federal crime. I need identification from all of you. Mom stepped forward. Officer, there's been a misunderstanding. Ma'am, your identification please. As deputies checked IDs and prepared citations, more family arrived. Cousin Mark. Aunt Barbara. The caterers. All stopped by deputies. All receiving the same explanation. Federal judge's protected residence. Trespassing. Citations. The caterers left immediately, threatening to sue Lauren for the deposit. Lauren was nearly screaming. Victoria, I know you're watching. Come out and tell them this is a family house. I opened the front door. Lauren's relief was immediate. Finally. Tell them this is a mistake. You're not allowed here. You organized an event without my permission. You distributed keys without authorization. You posted federal property on social media when you have no ownership interest. I'm your sister. You're trespassing on federal property. Deputy Chin, proceed with citations. Mom looked stricken. Victoria, you're really a federal judge? Why didn't you tell us? I did. 4 years ago when I was nominated. You said, that's nice dear, and changed the subject to Lauren's marketing job. I invited everyone to my confirmation hearing. No one came. We didn't know it was important. A federal judgeship is one of the highest honors in law. It's a lifetime appointment. It came with extensive background checks, Senate confirmation, and enhanced security protocols, including protected residence status. Lauren stared at the notices. So you're like, actually important? I'm a U.S. Federal District Court judge. I preside over federal criminal and civil cases. I make constitutional rulings. And this property is registered as my judicial residence. Unauthorized entry isn't just trespassing. It's a federal offense. We didn't know. You didn't ask. You assumed I was unimportant enough that you could commandeer my property. You made key copies. You've been using this house for parties. You posted it on social media, creating security risks. Then you organized a 30-person gathering without consent. Deputy Chin handed Lauren a citation. Ma'am, you're being cited for attempted unauthorized entry into a federal judge's residence. Federal violation. Court summons within 30 days. Court summons. Lauren went pale. Federal Magistrate Court. You'll need to appear or hire an attorney. Mom received a citation. My brother-in-law. Everyone who'd attempted entry. This is crazy. Lauren said. We're family. Family doesn't make it legal, Chen said. The law protecting federal judges' residences exists because of security threats. You compromised Judge Mitchell's security by distributing keys, posting her property on social media, organizing unauthorized gatherings. How much are these fines? My brother-in-law asked. Up to $1,000 per violation plus potential criminal charges if the U.S. attorney prosecutes. Given multiple violations, key copying, unauthorized entry attempts, security compromises, the U.S. Attorney's Office will review the case. Lauren looked faint. Criminal charges? Potentially. Judge Mitchell would need to request prosecution. I looked at my sister, my mother, the family scattered around holding citations. I want every key destroyed. Every social media post deleted. Written acknowledgement that you have no ownership interest. And every person who received a key signs a statement they won't attempt access again. Or what? Lauren asked weakly. Or I request full federal prosecution. Criminal charges. Possible jail time. Permanent federal records. Revelation. The family stood in my driveway, citations in hand, reality sinking in. Mom spoke first. Victoria, we genuinely didn't understand. You said judge, but we thought traffic court or something. Federal district court judges are appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. Lifetime appointments. We handle major federal cases. Civil rights, constitutional challenges, federal criminal prosecutions. I've presided over international fraud, public corruption, organized crime cases. Oh my God, Aunt Susan said. Those are serious. Yes. Which is why my residence requires enhanced security. Why unauthorized entry is federal offense. Why Lauren distributing keys and posting my address on Instagram created actual security risks. Lauren scrolled her phone frantically. I need to delete these posts now. Screenshots already taken for the federal case file, Chen noted. Deleting now won't erase security compromises. I'm so sorry, Lauren said, sounding genuine for the first time. I really didn't know. I thought you just worked at a courthouse. I didn't realize you were actually important. Important enough that threatening me, which some posts could be interpreted as doing, carries serious federal penalties. Important enough that people I've sentenced have reasons to want to know where I live. Important enough that you broadcasting my location could have put me in actual danger. Color drained from Lauren's face. I didn't mean. You didn't think. You assumed this property was communal because you couldn't imagine I'd be successful enough to own it myself. Mom was crying. How much did this cost? $2.1 million 5 years ago. Worth $2.8 million now. Silence. You bought a $3 million house and we didn't know? Lauren asked. You didn't ask. Every time I mention work you changed the subject. You've never asked about my cases, career or life. Deputy Chen checked his watch. Judge Mitchell, we need to clear the property. Everyone needs to leave immediately. Wait, Mom said. Can we talk? Inside. No. You're all trespassers cited for federal violations. You're not entering my home. Victoria, please, Lauren said. I made a huge mistake. Can we fix this? Here's how you fix this. Everyone signs statements acknowledging no rights to this property. Everyone submits to U.S. Marshal interviews about how they obtained keys. Everyone deletes social media posts and provides phone records proving deletion. Everyone pays citation fines without complaint. And then? Lauren asked. And then maybe I don't request criminal prosecution. Maybe. Resolution. Over the next week, every cited family member complied. They signed statements. They submitted to interviews. They deleted posts and provided phone records. They paid fines $800 each. Lauren paid $1,200 because she distributed keys. The U.S. Marshal Service completed a full security review. They upgraded systems, added monitoring and flagged my file for enhanced protection. Deputy Chen's report concluded. Subject's family created significant security vulnerabilities through key distribution and social media exposure. Violations were due to ignorance rather than malice, but security compromises were severe. Recommend continued monitoring and no family access to judicial residence. The U.S. Attorney's Office reviewed the case and decided not to pursue criminal charges, given cooperation and lack of criminal intent. But citations remained on federal records. Lauren called 2 weeks later. I'm so sorry, Victoria. I was selfish and thoughtless and I almost got us arrested. You did get cited for federal violations. Those don't go away. I know. I hired a lawyer. He says fines will stick, but if I stay out of trouble it won't affect my life much. But Victoria, I had no idea you were so successful. Why didn't you tell us? I tried. You weren't interested. I'm interested now. Now that you've been cited by U.S. Marshals for trying to break into my house? Silence. I need you to understand something. I bought this house because I needed a secure, private place away from threats that come with my job. I've sentenced people to decades in prison. I've made enemies. This house isn't a vacation spot. It's a protected residence because my safety matters. I never thought about it that way. You never thought about me at all. Just what you could take. She didn't call again. Mom sent an email 3 weeks later. I've been thinking about the incident. I'm ashamed we never asked about your career. I'm ashamed I missed your confirmation. Can we start over? I replied, we can be in contact. But you're never accessing my lake house again. That boundary is permanent. He accepted it. 6 months passed. Security upgrades held. No more family attempts to access the property. No more social media posts. No more assumptions that my success was communal. I received a promotion, chief judge of my district court, at 42, one of the youngest chief judges in the circuit. I didn't announce it to family. They found out when it made legal news. Lauren texted, "Congratulations on chief judge. That's amazing." I googled what it means this time. I replied, "Thank you. Nothing more needed." The lake house remained mine. Secure, private, entirely off-limits to family who'd learned the expensive lesson that assumptions about access don't create legal rights. The federal citations they received were permanent reminders. Property ownership matters. Security matters. And federal judges' residences aren't family vacation homes. They're protected federal properties with serious legal consequences. They'd assumed I was small enough, unimportant enough, that my house could be their house. The federal notices posted on my door told a different story. So did the U.S. Marshal vehicles that still occasionally patrolled. So did the Title 28 U.S.C. Section 566 citations they'd all received. My family learned that assumptions don't grant access. And federal law doesn't care about family entitlement.